All right, welcome back, ladies and gerbils, to this NST event here, this view from afar. And since we are afar here, we don't have to talk details. We can talk larger, big picture things. I just finished up with my detailed cast, which will come out 7 days from now. And so we can just talk about what's going on from afar. From afar, the New World seems pretty stable. Nothing has changed over here since my last cast. We still have Ireland sort of evenly split here between Greenland and North Canada. We do also have North Canada coming in here and taking part of England here, Wales, I guess. So that's stable as well. That's sort of, we've seen this. We've seen this before. We can see the big five in the west here has sort of stabilized into this region, but it does look like we have an additional territory. And I might be wrong, but I do know, for instance, that France is at war with Finland here. And I can't tell if they took this territory or they lost. Oh, Lille is part of France. So I might have actually cast this wrong in the detailed cast. We may have a situation where Lille, I know Lille starts as France on the map, may have lost France to Finland. So we may see territory. I initially looked at this and thought that perhaps France had captured some of Finland's territory, but it may be the other way around. In fact, it's looking like it's probably the other way around. Finland has made headway into French territory, which, yeah, that makes sense because look at the capital now is on the frontier. That is not good news for France at all. So one of the things that we've talked about here is this big five down here. One of the problems with five is that you've got to coordinate 5 people instead of just 3. It does seem as though the 5 has now gone to war with 1 or 2 or 3 of the northern powers here, which might be a very dangerous thing to do, being that the northern powers are one of the 2 dominant blocks of 3 here in this game. Probably the largest. We talked about this last time. I'm just going to call it as I see it. The largest block of 3 is going to have to be over here, Hemland, Viking, and Ryaforce. And I don't see how that can be overcome at this point in time, except through some sort of coalition, kumbaya kind of thing. But I'm not seeing that. What I'm seeing is the Western 5 going to war with the Northern 3, and the sort of dominant Southeastern block here, it seems to me, fortifying and industrializing and growing stronger. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I do know we've talked about this the whole game long, that relationships matter. And if somebody wrongs you early on or rubs you the wrong way, even if it's in your best interest to work with them later, sometimes you just won't, and that's maybe a matter of principle as much as it is about gameplay. But in this particular case, what I'm witnessing here is, I'll just say it, the third place team warring with the second place team while the first place team recovers and strengthens. Now, I feel bold enough to say that because I don't know if there's anything to be done about the first place team at this point. I don't know if everyone on the map teamed up against them, if that would matter. Maybe it would. It might. I don't know. But the way they've played has been intelligent and statesmanly, right? In other words, it matters how you are perceived by other countries. And frankly, I don't know what kind of arrangements they have. Second place is almost as good as first place. So you can offer that to lesser nations as an incentive to work with you. So there's a lot of different strategies that can be worked here. Now, to go ahead and just throw this out there, I'm calling the Southeastern Coalition the number 1 coalition, but that is with a huge grain of salt, because the Northern Coalition is really vast and also well protected by being in the corner. So it's almost like we have the northeastern and the southeastern coalitions here that are protected by the corner, by the map on two sides, right? You can't sneak up behind them because that's the map. There be dragons, right, beyond that region. And so I really don't want to sell the Northerners short because they have also played a strong, strong game. Now, if this five can stay together, they could potentially take territory in Europe. If they could take territory in Europe, then they could sort of fight their way back to a second place status or fighting for second place. Gosh, maybe even fighting for first place, like a three-way tie for first place. This has been a weirdly close game, even in this late game. And to me, the New World is a bit of a wild card. I will say this. They're a long way away through the water. And I made some early criticisms about Bullet Hole taking over two countries and not sharing a lot of that. But Bullet Hole is the naval power. So if you wanted one of your three to be a little bit OP, it would, in this situation, it would almost have to be the naval power because there's so much water between you and everyone else in the game. So we'll see how this plays out. We do continue to see Power of Us way underpowered. Orange Pit doing pretty well, along with the AI territories he took over and some of these other, I think 3 territories he took over from the U.S. He is at about a 2x sort of level. His original country plus like a whole other country's worth. Of course, Bullet is 3x right now, more or less, a little bit less. And Power is at like 0.7, right? Like 2/3 power. Not quite that. I think if we really wanted to have an accurate fraction, God damn it, I hate it that I'm a mathematician, but it would have to be 5/6 power, right? He's 10 out of 12. He's 5 out of 6. He's 5/6 power, but still not even a complete original. Oh, is that valid? No, he's taken an AI here. So he might be actually back to straight up 1. But still, as a person, I like to see team play. I just don't think it's great when you have, there's the old saying, it's stupid, but it's like we're only as strong as our weakest link. So I always kind of believe in lifting up your weaker links and making that chain as strong as you can. But like we talked about, there are times when one of your links has boats and there's a giant ocean between you and everyone else. And so maybe you want to give that strongest link more power so you can build more boats. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of complex sort of factors happening here. I think that's about it. I don't really need to talk about much more other than that. Really, we have a really strong northern coalition. I'll call it the northeastern because they are backed up against over here. You will notice that Russia is continuing to sort of low-key take over these AI, which is just slowly increasing their power, decreasing their popularity, right? They're getting more and more dreaded, but they don't care at this point in this late game. They're just interested in receiving those resources and that silver from those territories. So, I mean, that's the only slow consolidation of extra territories that I see on the map, because everything else, the battle here between France and Finland, is slow motion and grueling. And what's happening up here is just sort of a inevitable crush of these AI territories. That is also going to increase the power, the overall power of the Northern Coalition. So I see this right now as Northeast versus Southeast with the wild card over here, no question about it. This sort of West Central power of 5 is a wild card even in this late game. They do have 2 naval powers between them. And at this point, this is still a very watery game. A lot of waterways. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I'm just very curious. Papa Smitty is a very experienced Aqueous player. And I'll also say that Morocco has been building boats like crazy. Cheeky Morocco, who has a bunch of territories that I don't even know how they got them, but they've got them. So anyway, fun stuff. I'm telling you, like, this is still a dramatic game. Here we are, day 24. Day 24. good Lord, we're moving into our 4th week. We're in our 4th week now. And I still can't call this one. So I love it. Anyway, thanks to all the participants and thanks to all the people who are watching this, like me, with bated breath, just waiting to see what the heck's going to happen next, because this is a crazy ass game. It's just nuts. All right. Thanks for checking in, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Adios, amigos.